Have you felt like you're outgrowing the version of yourself the world expects? Like you're stuck between who you were and who you're becoming? That in between feeling, that's part of your evolution. And your rising sign can help you make sense of it. Your rising sign is the frequency your soul chose to lead with. It's the version of you that people see before you even speak. And it holds clues about your self image, your confidence, and the next chapter of who you're becoming. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what your rising sign says about your aura, the energy you radiate, the outdated identity keeping you small, and the power that you're meant to fully embody. So if you're ready to stop performing, stop shrinking, and start showing up as your highest self, this one's for you. So let's get into what your rising sign means about you and your next level.
Aries rising is the path of identity through bold action, raw instinct, and fearless self-expression. With this rising sign, your soul came here to lead, not follow. You move through the world with intensity, urgency, and momentum. You initiate. You disrupt. You don't wait for permission. You are the permission. When you're aligned, you embody courage in its purest form. You're unapologetically direct, full of vitality, and driven by passion. Your energy is electric. People feel your presence before you even speak. You have a natural ability to inspire others just by doing what comes naturally to you, going first. But Aries rising isn't just about hype. Beneath the surface, this rising sign holds a sacred mission: to rediscover who you are before the world told you to tone it down. This isn't about being reckless. It's about reclaiming your right to take up space, to move fast, and to be fully seen in your raw, unfiltered truth. You grow when you own your natural leadership instead of dimming it to be more palatable. When you act on your ideas before you talk yourself out of them. When you stop apologizing for your intensity or directness. When you trust that your desires are divine, not selfish. And when you reclaim the version of you that's not here to wait, but here to wake people up. Aries rising teaches that when you stop holding back, the world starts moving with you. This is one of the most magnetic and initiatory rising signs. You naturally blaze trail for others, even when you don't realize it. Some of your gifts include fearless initiation. You're wired to take the first step before others even notice the opportunity. Energetic authenticity. You don't fake anything. What people see is what they get, and that's powerful. Momentum creating magic. So you generate movement, ideas, and momentum just by being yourself. You also have the gift of strong physical presence. Whether it's your voice, body, or aura, you're unforgettable. You also have the gift of soul fire energy. When you're passionate about something, you inspire others to believe in themselves too. As well as the gift of built-in reinvention power. You don't need to wait for transformation. You are transformation. You're here to show the world what's possible when you stop overthinking and just go. With all that fire, Aries rising can get stuck in a loop when you, 1, burn yourself out by constantly doing without resting or grounding. When you lead from ego instead of soul, chasing validation instead of alignment. When you feel the need to prove your worth through constant action or performance. Or reacting impulsively when you feel disrespected or unseen. As well as when you build an identity around independence that actually hides fear of vulnerability. Now, as an Aries rising, this placement can come with some subconscious beliefs that may sabotage your growth, such as, if I slow down, I'll lose momentum. If I don't do it alone, I'm weak. If I'm not winning, I'm failing. Or if I don't make it happen right now, I'm falling behind. This is your survival self talking, not your higher self. Your true power comes when your action is intentional, not just fast. Now let's discuss your opposite sign and the power that it can bring to you as an Aries. So Libra lives in your 7th house, the house of connection, mirroring, and reflection. While Aries charges ahead, Libra asks you to pause, relate, and receive. Your reinvention doesn't come from moving faster. It comes from moving in harmony. So Libra energy teaches you how to channel your fire into intentional leadership, not impulsive reaction. How to see your impact through the eyes of others and choose connection over control. How to allow others in to support you, collaborate with you, and witness you. And to teach you that softness and strength are not opposites, they're soulmates. To fully rise into your power as an Aries rising, you must learn when to lead and when to listen, when to fight and when to feel, when to act and when to align. Libra gives you grace, diplomacy, and magnetism to match your raw drive. That balance is what makes you unshakable. Now, to shift your self-image as an Aries rising, your evolution isn't about slowing down, it's about refining your fire. So the first step to this is to reclaim your desire without shame. Stop asking for permission to want what you want. Make a list of your core desires, the things you've been talking yourself out of. Say them out loud. Own them. Let yourself feel excited again. And affirm, my desires are sacred. I move toward them with clarity and conviction. Next is to upgrade your relationship with anger. Anger isn't a flaw, it's feedback. So reflect. Where am I holding in rage or resentment to keep the peace? Find healthy ways to express it through movement, using your voice, or creativity. Let your fire purify you, not consume you. Next is to channel your momentum into purpose, not pressure. Not everything needs to happen right now. So create a soul strategy list. What actions are aligned with your next level self? Ask, is this action reactive or intentional before taking the next step? Focus your energy where it actually moves the needle. Next is to open yourself to collaboration and support. Libra energy reminds you don't have to do it all alone. Practice asking for feedback, help, or partnership without guilt. See connection as fuel for your fire, not a threat to your independence. Let yourself be witnessed. You don't have to carry the vision alone. And finally, rebuild your self-image around soul identity, not performance. You're not just the doer, you're the being. So reflect on who you are when you're not chasing something. Integrate rest, reflection, and stillness into your routine, even in small ways. Let your value be felt in your presence, not just your productivity. A great affirmation for you as an Aries rising is, my energy is sacred. My leadership is natural. I don't have to chase what's mine. I magnetize it by owning my truth and trusting my fire. If this resonated for you, drop a comment and let me know. And be sure to like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. And if this really hit home, be sure to check out my offerings below. I'd love to help you tap into your power. Thanks so much, and I appreciate you for watching. Taurus rising is the path of identity through stability, presence, and grounded sensuality. As a Taurus rising, you move through the world with a natural elegance, an energy that's calm, magnetic, and deeply rooted in the physical. You carry a kind of quiet confidence that doesn't need to prove itself. People trust you. They feel safe around you. But this rising sign is about more than just grace and reliability. It's about embodying self-worth in motion. You're here to build a life that feels good, not just looks good. A life that honors your values, your peace, and your pace. You grow when you claim your right to move slowly, intentionally, and in your own timing. When you let your self-worth lead the way in relationships, career, and self-expression. When you trust your instincts around beauty, energy, and what brings you true pleasure. When you stop shrinking to keep the peace and let your voice be part of your power. And when you release the idea that you have to perform peace instead of embody it. Taurus rising teaches, the more rooted you are in your truth, the more magnetic your energy becomes. This is one of the most naturally attractive and energetically grounding rising signs in the zodiac. Your presence alone is healing. Some of your gifts include deep energetic consistency. People know what to expect from you, and that earns respect. You also have the gift of sensual intelligence. You're intuitive about pleasure, aesthetics, energy, and comfort. Emotional resilience is another gift. You bounce back stronger after challenges, even when others don't see the struggle. You also have the gift of loyalty and presence. You stay where your heart is, and people feel that. Manifestation through embodiment is another gift. When your nervous system feels safe, you naturally attract abundance. And another gift is beauty as frequency. You understand that beauty isn't superficial, it's vibrational. You're here to show the world that groundedness is power and softness can be strong. As powerful as your rising sign is, you can block your own evolution when you stay stuck in familiar environments, relationships, or identities long after they've expired. When you use comfort as a way to numb or delay necessary change. When you avoid risk because change threatens your sense of safety. When you perform the chill version of yourself instead of speaking your truth. As well as when you take on the role of the emotionally available, low-maintenance person, even when it costs you your needs. Now, as a Taurus rising, some subconscious beliefs that may keep you small includes, if I disrupt the peace, I'll lose love. Or, as long as I'm steady and reliable, I'll be accepted. Or, it's safer to hold it all in than to confront what hurts. As well as, if I change, I might lose everything I've built. But that's not your soul talking. That's your conditioning. And you're here to outgrow that. Now, Scorpio is your opposite on the zodiac wheel, and it lives in your 7th house, the house of mirrors, partnerships, and power exchange. This is the energy that balances you and reveals the part of you that you've been suppressing. Scorpio teaches you to stop playing it safe. It invites you to feel everything, say the hard things, and embrace your personal power, even if it shakes things up. To reinvent your identity, borrow Scorpio's wisdom, such as your emotions are meant to be felt, not hidden. It's okay to burn bridges if they lead you back to your truth. Power isn't found in control. It's found in surrender. And vulnerability is your superpower, not your weakness. Scorpio energy reminds you, you're not here just to be steady. You're here to transform. When you integrate Scorpio's depth with your Taurus steadiness, you become unstoppable. To shift your self-image as a Taurus rising, you don't need to abandon your grounded nature. You need to update it. The first step to this is tell the truth you've been holding back. You've learned how to keep the peace. Now it's time to say what you really feel. So journal or speak out loud what you've been suppressing, even if no one hears it at first. Begin expressing your truth in low-stakes spaces until it feels safer to show up fully. Let your voice disrupt the performance of being easy to love. Next is to redefine what comfort means to you. So, is it truly comfort or just emotional avoidance? Ask yourself, does this still support my future self? Trade routine for resonance. Choose what feels alive, not just what's familiar. Upgrade your environment in small ways, such as fragrances, sound, color, or space, to reflect who you're becoming. Next is to lean into sacred discomfort. Change won't feel cozy, but it will set you free. Make micro changes to your daily life that push your edges. Take action on something that scares you just a little. Trust that your nervous system can handle more than you think. It's adaptable. Next is to embody your magnetism physically. Your energy is your signature. So dress like the version of you who already feels worthy. Practice sensual movement that brings you into your body, such as dance, stretching, or walking slowly. Say affirmations in the mirror like you mean them, not just like you're hoping that they're true. And finally, release what's expired without guilt. Let Scorpio's wisdom help you cut ties with the version of you that's no longer aligned. Write a letter to your old identity and let it go. End the pattern, the habit, the relationship, even if it served a purpose before. Make space for a new version of you to emerge. A great affirmation for you as a Taurus rising is, I no longer fear evolution. I am safe to grow, to release, and to rise. My presence is power, and I lead with truth, not performance. If this resonated for you, definitely let me know in the comments. And be sure to like, share with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Gemini rising is the path of identity through expression, curiosity, and adaptability. You move through life as a seeker of knowledge, connection, truth, and freedom. Your presence is engaging, youthful, and intellectually alive. You're fast on your feet, mentally agile, and know how to keep people interested. You don't just observe the world, you read it like a map. At your core, you're here to explore all the versions of yourself you've ever wanted to be. You're not here to be boxed in. You're here to communicate, to connect, and to constantly evolve. But Gemini rising isn't just about being social or smart. It's about being present with yourself in a world that constantly pulls you in a million directions. Your deeper mission is to unify your inner duality, to know when it's time to gather info and when it's time to embody what you've learned. You grow when you stop hiding behind the funny, chill, go with the flow version of yourself. When you honor your inner voice, not just your outer performance. When you choose truth over performance, even when it's uncomfortable. When you stop shape-shifting to fit other people's expectations. And when you realize your presence, not your words, is your most powerful form of communication. Gemini rising teaches you don't have to be everything to everyone. You just have to be true to you. Now, this is one of the most versatile and charismatic rising signs. You carry a natural lightness that makes you incredibly magnetic. Some of your gifts include emotional intelligence through words. You can name what others are feeling before they do. Another gift is your quick mental processing. You connect dots, trends, and patterns at lightning speed, as well as effortless adaptability. You know how to pivot, reinvent, and bounce back faster than most. You also have the gift of playful, witty magnetism. Your humor and charm instantly open doors for you. You also have the gift of communication as transformation. You don't just talk, you transmit. As well as the gift of multidimensional identity. You are a walking permission slip to evolve. You're here to embody truth in motion, to speak with intention, to live with curiosity, and to keep growing without apology. With all that brilliance, Gemini rising can stay stuck in identity loops when you, 1, over-identify with being likable or easy to talk to while masking your depth. When you avoid stillness because you fear what silence might reveal. When you spread yourself too thin trying to keep up with everyone and everything. When you over-intellectualize your emotions instead of feeling them. And when you confuse versatility with inconsistency and end up questioning your own value. Now, as a Gemini rising, you can carry some subconscious beliefs that may sabotage your growth, such as, I have to entertain to be accepted. Or, if I'm not interesting, I'm invisible. Or, if I slow down, I'll fall behind. And even if I change again, people won't take me seriously. But your evolution isn't about proving your worth. It's about embodying it. Now, let's discuss your opposite sign and the power that it can bring you as a Gemini rising. So Sagittarius lives in your 7th house, the house of mirrors, reflection, and sacred relationships. Now, while Gemini gathers information, Sagittarius seeks wisdom. While Gemini changes identities, Sagittarius claims a truth and lives by it. Sagittarius teaches you how to move from curiosity to conviction. It shows you that you don't have to have all the answers to own your perspective. To reinvent your identity, tap into your Sagittarius polarity. So this means anchor into beliefs that reflect your higher self, not just your current mood. Speak your truth, not just what's clever or socially acceptable. Trust that depth doesn't mean you'll lose your lightness. It gives it power. And stop questioning your path every 5 minutes and start walking it. When you blend Gemini's agility with Sagittarius's purpose, your presence becomes unforgettable. Now, to shift your self-image as a Gemini rising, you don't need to choose one version of yourself. You just need to lead with the most authentic one. So to do this, the first step is to practice sacred stillness. Your power doesn't disappear when the noise fades. It amplifies. So create space for regular silence. No distractions, no scrolling, just you and your inner voice. And ask yourself, what thoughts am I avoiding by staying busy? Notice what comes up when you're alone. That's where your next level lives. Next is to own your truth, even when it's messy. You've mastered the art of being light. Now master being real. Journal or speak your truth aloud without editing or performing. Begin saying, "This is how I really feel," in safe spaces. Let go of the need to sound right. Just be honest. Next is to close open loops in your life. Unfinished projects, unclear boundaries, loose ends equals mental chaos. Choose one area, career, relationships, self-image, and ask, what version of me am I still entertaining here? Make one decision that brings closure, not confusion. Clear energy equals clear identity. Next is to define your personal truth, then live by it. Sagittarius energy reminds you that clarity creates confidence. Write your core values, non-negotiables, and long-term vision. Post them somewhere that you see daily. Let your life reflect your truth, not just your options. And finally, speak to be felt, not just to be heard. Your words carry magic when they come from your core. Speak slower with more intention. Drop the filter that's trying to get it right. And ask yourself before speaking, is this coming from my mind or my truth? A great affirmation for you as a Gemini rising is, my voice is powerful because it's real. I don't have to perform to be loved. I only need to be present. I evolve with intention and speak from my soul. If this spoke to you, drop a comment and let me know. And also be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if this really hit, check out my offerings linked below to dive even deeper. I love to help you shift into your next level. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Cancer rising is the path of identity through emotional truth, intuitive knowing, and sacred self-protection. You move through life with a gentle strength that many people don't fully understand, but feel the moment you enter a room. Your energy is nurturing, sensitive, soulful. You make others feel seen, heard, and held. You came into this life with a deeply empathetic aura. You pick up on things others miss. Tones, vibes, moods, emotions that haven't even been spoken. You know how to care for people, even when they don't know how to care for themselves. It's part of your gift. But the deeper truth is, you're not just here to protect others. You're here to lead through emotional depth and divine sensitivity. This rising sign doesn't just reflect tenderness. It holds a deep spiritual authority. You carry ancestral wisdom in your body. You remember things from lifetimes ago. When you own this, you become a force. You grow when you stop overgiving to earn love or safety. When you let people witness the full range of your emotions without guilt or shame. When you set boundaries without fearing you'll be abandoned. When you choose yourself even when it disappoints others. And when you recognize that your softness is not weakness, it's your superpower. Cancer rising teaches when you love yourself the way you love everyone else, you become untouchable. This is one of the most emotionally magnetic and spiritually intuitive rising signs in the zodiac. You don't just have a vibe. You are the vibe. Some of your gifts include deep empathy and emotional fluency. You feel people's energy before they speak. You also have the gift of protective, healing presence. Your energy makes people feel safe enough to exhale. You also have intuitive intelligence. You just know what's real and what's performative. You also carry sacred devotion. You love with loyalty, intention, and depth. You possess embodied softness. You show others that emotional safety is possible in a chaotic world. And you also have the gift of soulful leadership. You lead by heart, not hierarchy. You're here to embody the truth that emotional power is real power. Now, your rising sign's biggest trap is becoming everything for everyone while slowly losing yourself in the process. You may block your growth when you, 1, base your identity around being needed, wanted, or emotionally available to others. When you avoid conflict out of fear of emotional abandonment. When you absorb other people's energy and call it your responsibility. When you dim your emotional truth so others feel more comfortable. Or when you build walls instead of boundaries when you've been hurt too many times. Now, some subconscious beliefs that you may carry that can sabotage your growth include things like, if I express my needs, I'll be too much. Or if I let people in, they'll leave or use me. If I stop caring for them, they'll stop loving me. Or I have to stay small to stay safe. But your evolution begins when you stop being the caretaker of everyone else's emotional world and start protecting your own. Now, let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign to utilize its power to elevate your Cancer rising energy. Now, Capricorn lives in your 7th house, the house of partnerships, reflection, and sacred mirrors. Capricorn is strong, structured, self-honoring, while Cancer nurtures, Capricorn builds. While Cancer feels, Capricorn executes. To reinvent yourself, you must step into Capricorn's high vibe traits, which includes self-respect that doesn't bend for approval, boundaries that don't need to be justified, long-term vision that includes you, not just the people you love, as well as a grounded sense of worth that isn't dependent on emotional validation. Capricorn's energy reminds you, you're not here just to care. You're here to create, to build a life where your sensitivity is honored and your success is undeniable. You don't have to choose between being soft and strong. You are both. To shift your self-image as a Cancer rising, you must reclaim your emotional truth and pair it with personal authority. To do this, the first step is to speak your needs without guilt. Your feelings are not a burden. So ask yourself, what do I need right now? And say it out loud. Let others adjust to your boundaries. You're not responsible for their reaction. Affirm to yourself, my needs are valid. My voice is sacred. Next is to create a ritual of emotional protection. You are naturally absorbent, so you need spiritual armor. So cleanse your energy daily. Water, salt baths, journaling, or energetic cord cutting. Visualize a golden light around you when you enter chaotic or draining spaces. Let your nervous system know, I've got you. Next is to choose discernment over emotional obligation. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. So ask yourself, am I offering this love because I want to or because I feel I have to? Practice saying no with love without explanation. Let your inner Capricorn filter who stays and who goes. Next is to define what home within yourself feels like. You've spent so much time being home for others. Now it's your turn. Create a physical or emotional space where you feel safe, seen, and grounded. Let this be your anchor when you start to slip into overgiving. Return to it often. This is your foundation for all reinvention. And finally, allow yourself to be witnessed. Your feelings are sacred, but they're not meant to stay hidden. Share your story, your healing, your transformation, even if your voice shakes. Let people love the real you, not just the curated version. When you're fully seen, you fully rise. A great affirmation for you as a Cancer rising is, my emotions are not too much. They are my compass. I no longer abandon myself to feel safe. I lead with love and protect my peace. I am soft. I am strong. I am sovereign. If this resonated for you, let me know in the comments. And also be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to guide you in your healing journey. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Leo rising is the path of identity through creative expression, magnetic presence, and unapologetic self ownership. You move through life with an unmistakable glow, whether you realize it or not. Your aura is warm, impactful, charismatic. You draw eyes without trying. You were born to shine, but not for the sake of attention, for the sake of alignment. At your core, you're here to be fully expressed, fully seen, fully alive. You lead with heart, and when you're aligned, your confidence is contagious. People feel inspired in your presence, not because you're perfect, but because you're real, passionate, and courageous enough to be yourself. But what most don't understand is that Leo rising isn't always confident. In fact, many Leo risings struggle with imposter syndrome, rejection wounds, and a fear of being misunderstood. This rising sign is on a mission to remember, you don't need permission to take up space. You are the permission. You grow when you, first, stop waiting for others to validate your greatness. When you let your creativity flow without trying to get it right. When you trust that you don't have to perform to be loved, you can just be. When you own your leadership, even if it looks different than what others expect. And when you make peace with being seen, even when you're still evolving. Leo rising teaches, when you radiate from within, the right people and opportunities orbit you. Now, this is one of the most naturally magnetic and creatively gifted rising signs in the zodiac. Your presence uplifts the room. Some of your gifts include having natural charisma. You light up a space just by showing up. You also have expressive creativity, whether through art, style, your voice, or your energy. You express soul through form. You also have the gift of loyalty and leadership. You are devoted to what and who you love, and people trust you because of that. You also have a gift for celebration. You hype others up and bring joy wherever you go. You also possess magnetic embodiment. When you walk in confidence, others rise too. And of course, you have the gift of inner star power. You don't chase the spotlight. You are the spotlight when you're in alignment. You are here to embody light, not in perfection, but in presence. As radiant as this rising sign is, your identity can get distorted when you, one, build your self-worth around external applause, recognition, or performance. When you hide your insecurities behind a polished image or exaggerated confidence. When you avoid vulnerability because you fear being seen as weak or too emotional. When you burn out trying to maintain a certain look or energy for others. As well as when you over-identify with how others perceive you and forget who you really are. Now, as a Leo rising, some subconscious beliefs that you could carry that may be holding you back include things such as, if I'm not impressive, I'm invisible. If I'm not confident, I don't deserve to be seen. If I show weakness, I'll lose respect. If I stop performing, people will leave. But Leo rising isn't here to be perfect. It's here to be powerful through authenticity. Now let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign's energy to help elevate your Leo rising energy. So Aquarius lives in your 7th house, the house of relationships, mirrors, and long-term reflection. Where Leo is expressive, Aquarius is detached. Where Leo seeks to be known, Aquarius seeks to belong to something bigger. Aquarius teaches you to stop centering your worth around how you're perceived and instead anchor your identity in alignment with your higher vision. To grow, you must integrate Aquarius energy, such as letting your authenticity serve the collective, not just seek attention from it. Release the need to be liked and focus on being impactful. Detach from external judgment and stay true to your inner compass. And to remember, you're not just the star, you are part of a constellation. When Leo and Aquarius work together, you become a visionary leader who doesn't just shine, you liberate others by shining. To shift your self-image as a Leo rising, you must reclaim your spotlight, not through perfection, but through truth. The first step to this is to detach from performative validation. Your glow isn't dependent on applause. So reflect. Where am I showing up to be seen versus showing up to be felt? Take a break from sharing just to get a reaction and create from your soul and not ego. Affirm to yourself, I don't need an audience to be radiant. Next is to rewrite your definition of confidence. Confidence is a frequency, not a performance. So ask yourself, what makes me feel confident in my body, not just my mind? Create a ritual that helps you embody inner power, such as movement, music, styling, or self-touch. Let your presence, not your perfection, lead. Next is to reconnect with your original creative joy. Not everything needs to be monetized or praised. So revisit a childhood hobby, an art form, or a passion project just for fun. Allow yourself to play, mess up, be messy. Your creativity will rebirth your identity. Next is to let yourself be seen in your softness. You don't need to be on all the time. Share something vulnerable with someone safe, your fear, your doubt, your truth. Practice emotional expression, even when it feels awkward. Let your heart speak without your pride filtering it. And finally, step into aligned visibility. It's time to lead, not perform. Claim a role, a platform, or space where your gifts can shine authentically. Show up even before you feel ready. Courage comes through action. And Don't just chase the spotlight. Be the source of it. A great affirmation for you as a Leo rising is, my light is not dependent on performance. It's rooted in truth. I am radiant, powerful, and worthy of being seen in all my forms. I shine from the inside out. If this resonated for you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below that are all designed to guide you in dramatically elevating your life. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Virgo rising is the path of identity through precision, presence, and intentional growth. You move through life with thoughtful awareness, taking in the details most people miss. You are observant, intuitive, and attuned to the subtle rhythms of energy, behavior, and emotion. You have a quiet kind of power, the kind that comes from showing up fully, consistently, and consciously. Your aura is refined. You don't need to be loud to be effective. Your energy speaks through action, service, and presence. But what most people overlook is that Virgo rising isn't just the helper or the fixer. Your true power isn't in perfection. It's in discernment. You're here to embody sacred structure, to refine energy, not control it, to bring order to chaos, but in a way that honors both the soul and the strategy. You grow when you, 1, release the pressure to always have it together. When you trust your inner knowing more than outside opinions. When you stop using productivity to prove your worth. When you embrace the version of you that isn't just helpful, but whole. And when you recognize that being low maintenance is not a personality, it's a coping mechanism. Virgo rising teaches that your presence doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. Now, this rising sign holds an incredibly unique frequency, one that is refined, devoted, and purposeful. You lead through grounded example. Some of your gifts include energetic precision. You sense what's off and how to realign it. You also have the gift of mastery through repetition. You get better the more you do, without needing hype. You also have the gift of sacred service. You help others grow just by being who you are. You also have embodied intelligence. You don't just analyze, you integrate. You also carry an energy that clears clutter, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And you also have the gift of grounded discernment. You can spot what's authentic versus performative from a mile away. You are here to elevate energy through presence. Your vibe is the reset people didn't know that they needed. Now, as gifted as you are, Virgo rising can fall into burnout when you, one, build your identity around being useful, helpful, or put together. When you spiral into self-criticism because you've confused standards with self-worth. When you stay in analysis mode to avoid feeling your emotions. When you avoid rest, fun, or softness because they feel unproductive. Or when you take care of everyone else's needs and leave yourself empty. Now, as a Virgo rising, you can carry some subconscious beliefs that may be running the show behind the scenes, such as, if I'm not improving, I'm falling behind. If I don't fix it, no one will. If I'm not needed, I'm invisible. Or, rest is lazy, perfection is love. But Virgo rising isn't here to be a machine. You're here to be a mirror of what mindful, soul-aligned living looks like. So let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign's energy to in turn positively impact your Virgo rising energy. So Pisces lives in your 7th house, the realm of partnerships, reflection, and soul mirroring. Where Virgo is detailed, Pisces is dreamy. Where Virgo is structured, Pisces surrenders. Together, they create divine balance. Pisces energy teaches you that you don't need to understand everything. You can feel your way forward. Pisces teaches you that magic exists in the moments you stop trying to control the outcome. Pisces teaches you that your value isn't in what you do, it's in who you are. Pisces also teaches you that letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting a higher timeline. When you let Pisces soften your edges, you return to your original essence, which is intuitive, wise, and whole. This allows you to stop performing clarity and start embodying faith. Now, to shift your self-image as a Virgo rising, your power lies in integrating devotion with surrender, discipline with softness. The first way to do this is to interrupt your perfection programming. You don't need to earn your right to exist. So ask yourself, where am I trying to be perfect to avoid being judged? Replace perfectionism with presence. Get it done, not flawless. And affirm to yourself, I am allowed to grow in public. I am safe to be in progress. Next is to let stillness be your strategy. You don't have to think your way through everything. Begin your day with 5 minutes of silence before checking anything external. Journal or meditate without a prompt. Let your inner guidance rise. Let Pisces energy show you that receiving is productive. Next is to stop earning love through labor. You are worthy. even when you're not helping, fixing, or doing. Notice where you jump in to solve things no one asked you to. Practice saying, "I trust they'll figure it out," even when it's uncomfortable. Let people love you for who you are, not just what you do for them. Next is to refine your self-talk like you'd edit your writing. You are naturally detailed. Use that skill on your inner world. Catch and rewrite critical inner narratives in real time. Speak to yourself like you'd speak to someone that you deeply admire. Create affirmations that feel real to you, not fluffy. And finally, return to ritual, not routine. You thrive with structure, but it has to feel sacred. Reimagine your daily habits as energetic practices and ask yourself, does this bring me closer to myself, or is it just keeping me busy? Let your lifestyle reflect devotion, not duty. A great affirmation for you as a Virgo rising is, "I release the pressure to be perfect and embrace the beauty of my presence. My worth is not in my doing. It lives in my being. I honor the sacred balance between devotion and surrender." If this resonated for you, drop a comment and let me know. And be sure to like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. And if this really hit home, be sure to check out my offerings linked below. I'd love to help you tap into your power. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Libra rising is the path of identity through connection, harmony, and relational magnetism. You walk into a room and immediately sense the energy, the unspoken dynamics, the undercurrents. You instinctively know how to adjust, smooth, balance, or elevate the vibe. You are elegant, likable, magnetic, not because you're trying, but because your presence just feels good. You are a natural mirror. People project onto you. They see beauty, poise, and polish, but may miss the emotional depth beneath your calm surface. What they don't always see is how much effort it can take to keep things peaceful. What they don't always know is how much you've swallowed to maintain the illusion of balance. But Libra rising isn't about people-pleasing. It's about embodied truth. You're here to evolve from performance into presence, from outer alignment to inner alignment, from keeping the peace to being the peace. You grow when you, first, speak up even when it rocks the boat. When you choose self-respect over approval. When you stop curating yourself to be easy to love. When you let others see your depth, not just your beauty. And when you stop seeking balance outside and start cultivating it within. Libra rising teaches real harmony begins with radical honesty. This rising sign exudes elegance, emotional intelligence, and intuitive social power. You're not just attractive, you're entrancing. Some of your gifts include being naturally diplomatic. You can see every angle and speak to everyone's perspective. You also have the gift of embodied beauty. You understand that beauty is a frequency, not a trend. You also possess magnetic calm. You naturally regulate energy and help others feel at ease. You have the gift of creative genius. You know how to turn feelings into form, pain into art. You also possess deep relational intelligence. You intuitively understand how connection works. And you have presence that commands without shouting. You move with grace, and people follow. You're here to remind the world that softness and strength can exist in the same breath. Now, as powerful as your rising sign is, you may lose your center when you, 1, build your identity around being agreeable, liked, or non-confrontational. When you silence your truth to avoid being too much or too difficult. When you become hyper-aware of others' needs while forgetting your own. When you confuse external peace with internal balance. And when you stay in one-sided relationships or dynamics to avoid disruption. Now, as a Libra rising, you can carry some subconscious beliefs that may block your growth. This includes things such as, if I speak up, I'll ruin the vibe. If they like me, I'm safe. If I disappoint them, I'll be alone. Or, I need to maintain the peace, even if it costs me my truth. But Libra rising isn't here to blend in. You're here to stand in the beauty of your boundaries. Now, let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign's energy to, in turn, help you to embody more of your Libra rising energy. So, Aries lives in your 7th house, the house of partnerships, soul mirrors, and identity reflection. Now, while Libra creates connection, Aries claims self. While Libra negotiates, Aries initiates. Your opposite sign holds the key to your self-image upgrade. Aries teaches you that you're allowed to be direct, that you're allowed to take up space, that you're allowed to prioritize yourself, even in love, work, and friendship. And also that you're not responsible for everyone else's comfort. Aries energy helps you reclaim your fire. It brings boldness to your beauty, power to your presence, and clarity to your boundaries. When Libra and Aries integrate, you stop molding yourself for others and start modeling what true balance looks like, which is alignment between both your inner and outer self. Now, to shift your self-image as a Libra rising, you must stop curating your identity for peace and start cultivating it through truth. The first step to this is to choose authenticity over likability. You don't need to be agreeable to be loved. Ask yourself, am I saying yes to be kind or to avoid conflict? Practice speaking your truth in low-stakes situations first. And affirm, I release the fear of being misunderstood. I choose me. Next is to check your reflection reflex. You are a natural mirror, but it's time to see yourself clearly. Notice where you shift your energy to match others' moods. And ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching or needing anything from me? Practice anchoring into your energy before entering social spaces. Next is to redefine your relationship with conflict. Conflict isn't the opposite of peace. It's the path to it. Begin viewing discomfort as growth, not danger. When a boundary is crossed, speak up, even if your voice shakes. Let Aries energy help you face what's hard with courage, not avoidance. Next is to create beauty that reflects your truth. You naturally know how to create aesthetics, but do they represent the real you? Refresh your space, your style, or your content to reflect your inner evolution. Express yourself through art, writing, visuals, raw, not just refined. Your beauty becomes power when it tells your real story. And finally, let alone feel safe, not shameful. You don't need a relationship, audience, or approval to be whole. Spend intentional time alone, reconnecting with your own desires. Let solitude become sacred, not something to avoid. Your energy becomes magnetic when it's no longer dependent. A great affirmation for you as a Libra rising is, I release the need to perform peace. I am safe to take up space, speak my truth, and honor my own needs. I create harmony through authenticity, not appeasement. If this spoke to you, drop a comment and let me know. Also, be sure to like, share this with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if this really hit home, check out my offerings linked below to dive even deeper. I'd love to help you shift into your next level. Thanks so much for watching. Scorpio rising is the path of identity through transformation, emotional depth, and energetic sovereignty. You don't just walk into a room. You shift the frequency. Your energy is potent. You are private, powerful, and deeply perceptive. People may not know why they're drawn to you. They just are. You live beneath the surface, reading between the lines, sensing what's unsaid. You're not here to perform. You're here to penetrate illusion, to live with purpose, to be the truth in a world that fears it. But what most people don't always see is that Scorpio rising isn't just intense for the sake of mystery. Your aura was built by fire. You've experienced emotional loss, betrayal, grief, or rejection early in life that made you build walls, armor, and hypervigilant self-control. What looks like power now was once protection. Your evolution lies in transmuting that same pain, not hiding it. It's in being seen, not just feared or misunderstood. It's in using your energy to heal, not just defend. You grow when you first release the fear of being exposed, rejected, or figured out. When you stop scanning for betrayal and start scanning for alignment. When you trust yourself enough to let others see you without the mask. When you shift from emotional survival mode into energetic sovereignty. And when you realize that vulnerability is not a weakness, it's your gateway to freedom. Scorpio rising teaches that when you own your depth, you stop attracting pain and start embodying power. Now, this is one of the most energetically charged and transformational rising signs in the zodiac. Your presence alone is alchemy. Some of your gifts include intuitive precision. You feel truth like a knife through fog. You also have energetic mastery. You know how to transmute pain into power. You possess deep emotional intelligence. You understand what others don't dare to speak. You have protective loyalty. You are fiercely devoted once someone earns your trust. You possess soul-level magnetism. You attract without effort because your energy commands respect. And you also have the gift of transformational leadership. You help others rise just by showing what's possible. You're here to embody the sacred truth that depth is divine. With all that power, Scorpio rising can unconsciously build an identity around protection instead of presence. So you may block your growth when you, 1, stay emotionally guarded and hyper-independent, even when you're craving intimacy. When you project strength to avoid being perceived as weak. When you live in constant self-monitoring mode, trying to stay in control. When you expect betrayal or abandonment before anyone even has a chance to show up fully. And when you stay in your shadow, manipulating, withholding, or testing because it feels safer than being real. Now, as a Scorpio rising, you can carry some subconscious beliefs that may be running in the background. These can sound like, if they really knew me, they'd leave. I can't trust anyone but myself. If I stay mysterious, I stay in control. Or, it's safer to be feared than to be hurt. But your healing begins when you realize you don't have to survive anymore. It's safe to be seen. Now let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign's energy to in turn help to elevate your Scorpio rising energy. Now, Taurus lives in your 7th house, the space of mirrors, long-term relationships, and energetic balance. Where Scorpio goes deep, Taurus grounds. Where Scorpio transforms, Taurus stabilizes. Taurus helps you slow down, feel safe in your body, and receive instead of control. Taurus energy teaches you that emotional safety is found in consistency, not chaos. That you don't have to test people to trust them. Some people are actually safe. That pleasure, comfort, and stillness are not luxuries. They are healing tools. And that you're allowed to rest, to feel good, to not always be on guard. When you integrate Taurus energy, you shift from emotional intensity to energetic alignment. You realize that true power isn't in defense, it's in self-trust. Now, to shift your self-image as a Scorpio rising, you must transmute your identity from shadow armor into embodied wholeness. The first step to this is to release the fear of being seen. You don't have to be unreadable to be respected. Ask yourself, what part of myself am I hiding and why? Practice revealing just one layer to someone that you trust. Let yourself be known, not controlled. Next is to retire the emotional armor. Your power no longer lives in defense. Journal the following. Where did I learn that vulnerability equates danger? Thank the version of you who built walls and gently start opening doors. Affirm to yourself, it is safe to be seen in my truth. Next is to reprogram your relationship with intimacy. You don't have to scan for threats. You can scan for soul. Let go of the prove yourself test and start listening to your body's wisdom. Ask yourself, do I feel safe being soft with this person? Let Taurus energy guide you back to grounded connection. Next is to anchor into embodiment practices. You heal through your body, not just your mind. So practice slow, intentional movement, such as yoga, breath work, or self-touch. Choose daily rituals that calm your nervous system and center your energy. Taurus reminds you that grounding is not boring, it's magnetic. And finally, lead with quiet power, not performance. Your energy is already enough. Don't overshare to prove depth or undershare to stay hidden. Just show up as you. Trust that your transformation speaks louder than any words. Let presence replace the need for protection. A great affirmation for you as a Scorpio rising is, I release the fear of being exposed. I am safe to be seen. My power flows from presence, not protection. I trust my energy to speak for me. If this resonated for you, let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to guide you in your healing journey. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Sagittarius rising is the path of identity through expansion, exploration, and soul truth. You move through the world with infectious energy, curious, magnetic, and full of possibility. You have a natural spark that makes people want to follow your lead, even if you're not trying to lead at all. Your presence says, freedom lives here. You were born to inspire, to teach, explore, provoke new thought. You radiate a sense of there's more out there. And when you're aligned, you don't just chase that more, you embody it. You're here to live boldly, speak honestly, and remind others of their own infinite potential. But the truth is, Sagittarius rising isn't just here to escape or entertain. It's here to elevate. Your growth lies in grounding your wisdom, not just chasing new highs. You've been the performer, the jokester, the rebel, the wanderer. But now your soul wants integration. Your fire becomes sacred when it has direction. You grow when you, 1, let your truth evolve instead of clinging to being right. When you show up fully without needing to be the lightest person in the room. When you share your vision, even before it's fully formed. When you accept that discipline and structure don't kill freedom, they amplify it. And when you stop distracting yourself with what's next and start being present to what's now. Sagittarius rising teaches, your truth doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. It just needs to be lived. This rising sign radiates bold, visionary energy. You are a walking spark of possibility and optimism. Some of your gifts include your intuitive storytelling. You share from the soul, and others feel it. Your expansive energy is another gift, because you're able to lift people's spirits just by being in the room. You also have a global perspective. You understand people, cultures, and truths beyond your own. Also, your natural optimism. You see the lesson in everything. You also carry soul-level inspiration. You ignite courage in others by embodying it first, as well as the gift of built-in reinvention. You can always start over and make it look like a glow-up. You are here to embody freedom with purpose. Now, as expansive as you are, Sagittarius rising can lose direction when you, 1, avoid stillness or discomfort by constantly chasing the next thing. When you stay in performer mode, funny, bold, entertaining, to avoid vulnerability. When you speak truth without emotional sensitivity, leaving a trail of wounds. When you over-identify with being the wise one and resist feedback. And when you abandon responsibilities or commitments when they start to feel confining. Now, as a Sagittarius rising, you can carry some subconscious beliefs that may be blocking your evolution. These can sound like, if I slow down, I'll lose my edge. If I get too close, I'll lose my freedom. If I'm not inspiring or exciting, I'm irrelevant. Or if I stop moving, the emptiness will catch up. But Sagittarius rising isn't here to run from anything. You are here to become so grounded in your vision that you carry your freedom everywhere you go. Now, let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign's energy to positively impact your Sagittarius rising energy. So, Gemini lives in your 7th house, the house of one-on-one connections and integration. Now, while Sagittarius expands, Gemini refines. While Sagittarius preaches, Gemini listens. Gemini teaches you how to slow down, check in, and hold space for duality. Gemini energy reminds you that you don't always need to be the teacher. You're still a student too. Also, that listening can be just as powerful as speaking. As well as freedom always means choice, not just motion. And that sharing your evolving truth, even the messy version, creates real intimacy. When you integrate Gemini's energy, your truth becomes less performative and more personal, less theoretical and more felt. You become a connector, not just a preacher, a guide, not just a performer. Now, to shift your self-image as a Sagittarius rising, you must bring your bold fire home, into your body, your presence, and your relationships. The first step to this is to let go of next as your identity. The future isn't your escape, it's your creation. So ask yourself, am I running toward something or running from something? Pause before jumping into the next project, trip, or plan. And affirm to yourself, I am safe in the now. My presence creates my expansion. Next is to drop the performance mask and tell your real truth. You don't have to be inspiring 24/7. Share the messy middle part, not just the breakthrough. Let people in on what you're still figuring out. Trust that your vulnerability is your leadership. Next is to ground your wisdom into something tangible. The world can't grow from your potential. It needs your application. So pick one idea you've been sitting on and start building it. Create structure for your vision. Break it down, plan it out. Let Gemini's energy help you communicate it clearly and consistently. Next is to rebuild your relationship with commitment. Your soul wants freedom with follow through. So ask yourself, where have I ghosted my growth because I feared being tied down? Choose one area of life to commit to fully with intention. Learn that devotion doesn't kill your fire, it channels it. And finally, let curiosity lead your reinvention, not ego. You don't have to know it all or be the loudest. Practice asking more questions than you answer. Listen with the same passion that you speak. Embrace the fact of, I am still learning, as your power, not your flaw. A great affirmation for you as a Sagittarius rising is, I don't need to chase freedom. It lives inside me. I lead with truth, grounded in purpose and open to evolution. My presence is my expansion. If this resonated for you, drop a comment and let me know. And be sure to like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. And if this really hit home, be sure to check out my offerings linked below. I love to help you tap into your power. I appreciate you for watching. Capricorn rising is the path of identity through discipline, mastery, and aligned ambition. You carry yourself with quiet authority, often without realizing how powerful your energy is. People take you seriously. They see strength, capability, and resilience in you, even when you're still figuring things out inside. You were born with a natural leadership aura. There's a maturity about you, even at a young age. Life may have pushed you into responsibility roles early. You became the one who handled things, who showed up, who made sure it got done. That energy becomes part of your identity. But what most people don't see is that Capricorn rising isn't just a high achiever. It's a soul that's been carrying generational pressure, the expectation to succeed, to be strong, to perform, to prove your worth through your work. But your evolution is about remembering. You don't have to earn love through effort. You don't have to climb every mountain to be valuable. You get to redefine what success means for you. You grow when you, 1, stop measuring your worth through productivity or performance. When you create your own definition of success that feels soulful, not just impressive. When you release the guilt of slowing down, resting, or changing direction. When you speak from your heart, not just from strategy or logic. And when you learn to receive love, support, and softness without needing to deserve it. Capricorn rising teaches that your legacy isn't built through pressure. It's built through alignment. Now, this is one of the most respected and self-mastering rising signs in the zodiac. You radiate reliability and refined wisdom. Some of your gifts include natural authority. You carry leader energy that earns respect without needing to ask for it. You also have visionary structure. You know how to build something real from the ground up. You also carry consistency and grit. You don't just dream, you do. You also have the gift of inner resourcefulness. You've learned how to rely on yourself, and it shows. You also have the gift of strategic intuition. You feel what's worth your time and effort and can act accordingly. You also carry long game energy. Your rise is steady, sustainable, and sacred. You're here to show the world what aligned discipline looks like. As powerful as you are, Capricorn rising can become imprisoned by pressure when you, one, over identify with your roles, titles, or performance. When you push your emotions down to stay focused or keep it together. When you carry everyone else's responsibilities while neglecting your own inner world. When you burn out trying to prove you're enough through success. And when you avoid vulnerability because you equate softness with weakness. Now, as a Capricorn rising, you may be carrying some subconscious beliefs that may be holding you hostage. These can sound like, if I stop working hard, I'll lose everything. If I fail, I'll disappoint everyone. If I'm not needed, I'm not valuable. If I rest, I'm falling behind. But your reinvention begins when you realize your presence is enough, even when you're still becoming. Now, let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign's energy to, in turn, positively impact the way that you show up as a Capricorn rising. Now, Cancer lives in your 7th house, the house of relationships, reflection, and emotional balance. Now, while Capricorn builds empires, Cancer reminds you to come home to yourself. While Capricorn achieves, Cancer feels. While Capricorn leads, Cancer nurtures. Cancer teaches you that you don't have to hold it all together alone. Support is sacred. Cancer teaches you that emotions aren't distractions, they're messages. Also, that your soft side doesn't diminish your strength, it grounds it. Cancer also teaches you that you deserve rest, love, and peace before the goals are met. When you let Cancer soften your edges, you don't lose your power. You become whole. Your success stops being a shield and starts being an expression of self-love. Now, to shift your self-image as a Capricorn rising, you must release the mask of pressure and build a new identity rooted in embodied leadership and emotional truth. The first step to this is to redefine what success means to you. You get to write your own legacy. So ask yourself, if no one was watching, what would I really want to build? Create a success definition based on how it feels, not just how it looks. And affirm to yourself, my success serves my soul, not my ego. Next is to stop proving and start being. You don't have to earn your worth. Notice where you overwork, overcommit, or overgive to feel safe. Practice stillness. Let yourself exist without producing. Let your presence lead before your performance. Next is to build structure around what nourishes you. Discipline doesn't mean pressure, it means devotion. Make a schedule or a system that prioritizes rest, creativity, and joy, not just output. Create containers for emotional processing, not just productivity. Let Cancer energy teach you that structure can be soft. Next is to let people in, even if you're still healing. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. Share your truth, even if it's messy or unfinished. Ask for support, connection, or affection without guilt. Vulnerability won't collapse your image. It will elevate your impact. And finally, honor your emotional body like your physical goals. Your emotions need attention too. Practice checking in with how you feel, not just what needs to get done. Use grounding rituals, earth element, breath work, stillness to balance your intensity. Build a home within, not just a title outside. A great affirmation for you as a Capricorn rising is, I release the need to earn my worth. I lead from presence, not pressure. My legacy is built from alignment, truth, and deep inner trust. If this resonated for you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below that are all designed to guide you in dramatically elevating your life. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Aquarius rising is the path of identity through originality, truth, and energetic innovation. You don't just walk to the beat of your own drum. You invent the rhythm. From a young age, you probably knew you were different. You saw the world from a different lens. You questioned things others accepted. You felt like the observer and the disruptor. This rising sign carries future-forward energy. You're not here to blend in. You are here to break molds. Your aura is electric. You naturally pull people in with your uniqueness, your ideas, your unfiltered essence. You came to challenge systems and awaken change, not just in society, but in the people around you. But what most people miss is that Aquarius rising isn't just about rebellion or intellect. You are deeply sensitive, just in a different way. You crave belonging, but fear conformity. You value connection, but resist vulnerability. Your identity can become wrapped in being the one who's different, even when that leaves you feeling isolated. You grow when you, 1, allow yourself to be known, not just admired from a distance. When you let your authenticity be witnessed, even when it's messy. When you accept that connection doesn't threaten your freedom. When you balance your mind with your heart and your ideas with embodiment. And when you stop performing individuality and start living your truth. Aquarius rising teaches you don't have to be understood to be impactful, but you do have to be real. Now, this is one of the most innovative and energetically ahead of their time rising signs. You carry the future in your frequency. Some of your gifts include visionary thinking. You see beyond trends into what's coming next. You have unique self-expression. You don't need a blueprint. You are the blueprint. You carry unshakable individuality. You know who you are, even if others don't get it. You carry the gift of community building genius. You attract like-minded souls and lead with ideas. You also have the gift of magnetic weirdness. You give others permission to be fully themselves. And you also have the gift of sacred disruption. You call out what's outdated and inspire what's new. You are here to be the difference, not just talk about it. Now, as powerful as you are, Aquarius rising can get stuck in isolation, avoidance, or over-intellectualizing when you, one, over-identify with being unrelatable or different to avoid emotional intimacy. When you hide behind logic, sarcasm, or aloofness to protect your heart. When you distance yourself from others to maintain your independence. When you avoid embodying your ideas, staying in the mental realm without taking action. And when you feel unseen or misunderstood, but secretly resist being fully known. Now, some subconscious beliefs that you may be holding that could be blocking your evolution sound like, if I let people close, I'll lose myself. If they really knew me, they'd never understand. I need to stand out to matter. Or, my emotions make me weak or irrational. But Aquarius rising isn't here to prove it's different. It's here to live its truth boldly and connect through authenticity. Now, let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign's energy to directly impact how you embody your Aquarius energy. So, Leo lives in your 7th house, the mirror of relationships, expression, and personal power. Now, while Aquarius thinks globally, Leo brings it home to the self. While Aquarius seeks innovation, Leo brings heart. Leo teaches you that you're allowed to take up space, not just intellectually, but emotionally. That your joy matters, not just your ideas. That you don't have to blend into the collective. You are the light people are drawn to. And that vulnerability isn't a threat. It's an invitation to be loved for who you really are. When you integrate Leo, you stop hiding behind being different and start shining in your truth. You bring heart into your vision. You become magnetic because you're honest, not because you're trying to stand out. Now, to shift your self-image as an Aquarius rising, you must ground your brilliance in presence, not performance. The first step to this is to let go of needing to be understood. You're not here to be decoded. You're here to be felt. So ask yourself, am I expressing my truth or trying to be impressive. Share more of what's real, even if it feels awkward or unfinished. And affirm to yourself, my authenticity speaks louder than my explanation. Next is to stop hiding behind detachment. Your heart deserves to be seen too. So notice where you use intellect or humor to bypass your emotions. Start saying what you feel before you try to explain it away. Let connection soften you without making you smaller. Next is to ground your ideas into reality. The world doesn't need more genius. It needs embodied genius. Choose one idea you've been circling and put it into form. Take action, even if it's imperfect. Let Leo's energy give you the courage to show up fully. Next is to let others reflect your light back to you. Your uniqueness doesn't need to isolate you. Spend time with people who see you without needing you to perform. Let yourself receive compliments, love, attention, without deflecting. Allow your presence to be witnessed, not just observed. And finally, lead from embodiment, not ego. You don't need to be the most radical. You just need to be the most you. Speak from personal truth, not performance. Build things you believe in, even if no one else gets it yet. Let your legacy be built through authentic frequency, not forced uniqueness. A great affirmation for you as an Aquarius rising is, I am not here to be understood. I am here to be real. I lead with vision, truth, and heart. I shine in my full presence, and my energy makes space for others to rise. If this resonated for you, drop a comment and let me know. And be sure to like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. And if this really hit home, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to help you tap into your power. Thanks so much, and I appreciate you for watching. Pisces rising is the path of identity through intuition, sensitivity, and divine surrender. You don't just walk through life, you feel your way through it. Your aura is ethereal, empathetic, and otherworldly. You see what others miss. You feel what others suppress. You are a channel, a vessel, a mirror for the energy around you. From a young age, you probably learned how to read a room before you read yourself. You picked up on emotions that weren't yours. You blended in, not because you didn't have an identity, but because you were constantly shape-shifting to survive. But Pisces rising isn't here to disappear. You're here to dissolve illusions. You don't need to be nothing to be loved. You are allowed to be seen, heard, and soft. Your power comes from being the one who feels it all and still chooses to rise. You grow when you stop absorbing everyone's emotions and start protecting your own energy. When you let yourself be real instead of palatable. When you ground your intuition into action, not just dreams. When you express your needs clearly instead of hinting or hoping. And when you remember that your softness is strength, not a flaw to hide. Pisces rising teaches that your soul is not too much. It's exactly what this world needs. Now, this is one of the most intuitive, spiritually gifted, and emotionally attuned rising signs. Your presence is medicine. Some of your gifts include soul deep empathy. You don't just understand feelings, you embody them. You also have the gift of spiritual creativity. You create beauty, art, and energy that heals. You also carry mystical magnetism. Your energy draws people in and awakens something in them. You carry emotional alchemy, so you're able to transmute pain into compassion, art, and wisdom. You also have the gift of intuitive downloads. You receive insights that defy logic. And you also carry energetic adaptability. You know when to flow, when to soften, and when to lead. You're here to bring the unseen into form and remind others of the magic they've forgotten. Now, with your deep sensitivity, Pisces rising can lose themselves in others, especially when you absorb energy that isn't yours, then carry it as your own pain. When you avoid boundaries because you're afraid of hurting people. When you confuse love with sacrifice, thinking you have to give everything to be worthy. When you retreat into fantasy, avoidance, or escapism to cope with overwhelm. And when you stay vague or passive to avoid rejection or confrontation. Now, some subconscious beliefs that may be draining your power sound something like, if I set boundaries, I'll lose their love. I have to fix their energy before I can feel okay. If I'm not useful or comforting, I'm invisible. Or my emotions are too much for people to handle. But Pisces rising is here to channel, not carry, to feel deeply, but move wisely. Your clarity is your liberation. Now, let's discuss how you can use your opposite sign's energy to positively impact the way you show up as a Pisces rising. Now, Virgo lives in your 7th house, the mirror of connection, devotion, and sacred self-responsibility. Now, while Pisces dreams, Virgo organizes. While Pisces flows, Virgo focuses. Virgo reminds you that your magic needs containers, not cages. Virgo teaches you that your healing gifts need structure, not sacrifice. That your boundaries protect your energy so your intuition can thrive. That you're not here to rescue everyone. You're here to serve in alignment. And that small steps and grounded rituals will anchor your spiritual expansion. When Pisces and Virgo integrate, you become unstoppable. Not just mystical, but masterful. not just sensitive, but sovereign. Now, to shift your self-image as a Pisces rising, you must bring your energy down to earth without losing your soul's softness. Now, the first step to this is to reclaim your emotional space. Not every vibe is your responsibility. So ask yourself, is this emotion mine or something I've absorbed? Practice daily energy clearing, water rituals, cord cutting, or visualization. And affirm to yourself, I can feel everything and still protect my own peace. Next is to let yourself be fully seen. You don't have to dilute your magic. Express your truth without filtering it for comfort. Stop disappearing to keep others comfortable. Take up space, softly but fully. The right people won't just understand, they'll resonate. Next is to ground your spiritual insights into action. Your dreams deserve a body. Take one intuitive nudge and give it structure, a plan, a step, a voice. Build rituals that turn vision into momentum. Let Virgo's energy help you follow through, not just float away. Next is to replace self-sacrifice with aligned service. You don't have to suffer to serve. So ask yourself, am I giving from love or from guilt? Practice saying no without explanation. Let silence be your boundary. Your worth isn't measured by how much you pour out. It's measured by how true you stay to yourself. And finally, let your emotions lead, not leak. Your feelings are powerful when held with care. Journal your emotional truth before reacting or escaping. Practice naming what you feel without judging it. Emotions don't make you unstable. They make you human. A great affirmation for you as a Pisces rising is, I am safe to feel deeply and still protect my peace. My intuition is sacred. My energy is sovereign, and I no longer shrink to be loved. I lead with softness, clarity, and truth. If this resonated for you, be sure to drop me a comment and let me know. And be sure to like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. And if this really hit home, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to help you tap into your power. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching.